video where you can see how to work with your HMI device and your HMI project in the TIA Portal software. In this lecture number 4, we show how to work with element button. So here you can see the button object in the elements of the toolbox. To insert it to the screen, you just drag and drop it. Okay. So now we go check the properties of this object. And we start with the general property. Here in the general you can choose the mode of this button. This means if this mode will be showing the text, how you can see here, or you can change it to the text list if you create it here in the text and graphic lists. This we show later how to create text and graphic lists. So for now we use the text. For example, we change the text to button, press OK, and here is the text. Also you can use the graphic mode. Here you can also use the graphic list, but we show this later. And here you can use the graphic. For example, we use as a graphic home picture, and here you can see the home picture. Also you can use graphic and text together. How you can see now, you can see also text, button, and the picture of the home. Or you can also use the invisible button here. This means your button is invisible, but you can set some background, for example some picture, and on this picture you insert this invisible button, and then you have something like the button with the graphic, but not sure here, but by the another layer under the button. Okay, for this example we use the text mode, and for example text will be button. Okay, next we have here appearance property, where you can change the background of this button. For example, we make it horizontal gradient, we make it a little bit more rounded. How you can see, you can change the radius of the corner. Also we change the text of the button, for example to red, and make it a little bit bigger borders of this button, for example like this. We choose the style, for example 3D style, and color is right, for example. Okay, then there is a fill pattern property, where you again can change the background settings. This means for example gradient for this background. When you choose the horizontal or vertical gradient fill pattern, and also you can change the color of these patterns. For example, we change it from green to red, and you can make it wider. Corners have these colors, and the background of this button have this color. Okay, then here is a property design, where you have focus setting, where you can change the width of the focus border. This means when you click on the button, you see the focus border. That means the button is pressed or something like that. For example, we make it width 5 and the focus will be red. Now we can go check how this focus looks like. Here you can see this red border is the focus of this button. Okay, we insert another button to see the changes of the focus. Here, how you can see, now is not focused, then the red border is not here, and when we click on it, it's focused. Okay. Now we go back to the properties to do layout property. Here you can change the size and the position of the button in the XY direction, and the width and the height of the button. Also you can change the fit to size. This means this button will be fit to the font of the text. For example, in this button you can change the text margins, etc. If you use picture, then picture margins, and alignment graphic is if you use graphic mode, and same fit graphic to size. Then here is a text format property. We use this because we use the text mode. So for example, we make bigger font to see the text. Okay, for example, like this. Okay, here we have orientation. You can change it to vertical. For example, if you have a vertical button like this. But we try to work with the horizontal orientation. Okay. And also you can make alignment of this text inside the button. For example, for now we have horizontal centered alignment. This is the left, and also you can use right. We use the centered. Okay. And then also you have here the vertical alignment. Here you can choose top, down, and middle. For example, this is top, and down will be down. For this example, we use middle. Okay. Also you have property flashing, where you can set the flashing of this button, but we don't use it for now. Then where you use your own styles in your HMI project, you can use it here. You just enable the styles and choose your style which you created before. This issue we show later in later lessons. Then there is the property where you can change the name of the object. For example, we name it button number 1, and also you can insert the tooltip of this button. This means, for example, when you are in the runtime and you have mouse on over the button, you can see the tooltip. And also you can change the layer of this button, which you see in the lecture number 2, how to do this. And also you can choose and set the runtime security. This means someone can click on this button only when they have the authorization to use this button, for example, administrator. Okay. Then also we have here the animation for the button, where we have free animation for the display. This is appearance, control enable, and the visibility. Also you have here the movements. This means your button move from example from here to here by some value of the tag. Here you can see you choose the X position of the start moving and Y position where stop this moving. Okay, for this lesson we just show the display animation. For example, appearance. Now here you insert the process tag of this animation. For this we have some internal tag, for example internal integer, and we use the type of this animation, the range. More about animation about the display animation we show in a previous lecture or lesson. Okay, so here we have the process tag, and we say if this tag is in the range 0 to 100, then the background color of this button is green, and the foreground color, this means the color of the text, is black, And when this process tag is in the range from 101 to 201, the background color is like the default color of the button, and the foreground color is also as the background, as the text color, as the default color of the text. Okay, for the changing this internal integer tag, we use the IO field. About this IO field we say more in previous lesson number 3. Okay, we insert here the process tag internal integer. Okay, so recapitulation. Appearance: when we in this range, the background color of this button is green and the foreground color is black. When we are in this range, the background color is this and the foreground is this. So we go back to the simulation to see if it works. And now, how you can see, now the background is green because we are in the range from 0 to 100. Now we go to the range between 101 and 201, for example 150, and how you can see, the background color of the button is default, like we choose in the animation. And now we go back to the lower range and the background is green. Okay, this looks fine and works fine. Now we try the animation control enable, where we for now, for example, use internal bool tag, and we use the single bit of this process tag, where when the internal bool tag is true, then this button is enabled, the control of this button is enabled, and when it's false, then it's disabled. Okay, we save this and go check it to the visualization. Okay, so how you can see, now the internal bool is false, and this means our control enabling for the button is disabled. Now we change it. Oh, we don't know change it. We want to go back, insert another IO file, and here as a process tag we insert internal bool. Okay, go back to the visualization. So disabled when we change the tag to true. Now this button is enabled. Back to 0, disable. Okay, so this is how control enable animation for the button works. And now we try also the visibility animation for the button object. Okay, as a process tag we use, for example, again integer tag, where we use range, and for example when this process tag is in the range, when the value of this process tag is in the range from 300 to 400, then this button will be invisible. Okay, we go check it in the simulation. So button is visible because we are out of the range of invisibility, sorry. Now we go between the range 300 and 400, for example 350, and how you can see, button is invisible. We go back to the visible range and the button is visible. Okay, this is how visibility animation for the button object works. So, and the button is very good for using it with the events. everybody use it with the events. Here you have some events which you can use for this button. For example, when you click on the button, then do some event. When you press the button, do some event. When you release the button, do some event. And same for the activate, deactivate, and the change. For example, in this video, we show release event, and as a function we use where we, after the releasing of this button, we change the screen to another screen. Okay, so for this we create screen number 2. On this screen we also insert this button. Okay, here for example change the name, the text of this button, for example to go to screen 2. Okay, and this will have the text go to screen 1. Okay, so here we go to the event, and to the release event we use, after the releasing this button, activate screen with the name screen number 2. Screen number 2. Okay, and on the screen number 2 we use, for example, event press. This means when we press this button we want to activate screen number 1. Screen number 1. Okay, so now I go to the simulation to see if it works. Okay, so now also, I'm sorry, here we want to change the text because now I use the Chinese Taiwan language, and how you can see in the runtime we see only the text as a text of the button. To see it right, we make the same text of the button in both languages. Okay, go back to the simulation. So now when I click on this button, wait, okay, now it's control enable. When I click on this button, nothing happened because we, for this button on the screen 1, we choose the release event for this button. So now when I release this button, then we activate the screen number 2, how you can see. But for this button on the screen number 2, we choose the press event. So this means when I press this button, then I activate the screen number 1. No release, but press. Press, yep, we are here. Click, but we want to wait for the release. Release, press. Okay. Also, for example, we can use this button to change some value of the tag. For example, when I press on this button, I change the value of the internal integer tag. This means, for example, you can use the event set tag, where you insert the name of the tag. For us is internal integer, and here you insert the value which you want to set to this tag when you press on this button. For example, number 150. Okay. Save and check it in the runtime. So we set this to number 1 to have control enable to enable. Now when I press this button, I change the value to 150 of this stack. How you can see, it's changed. And now when I release this button, I go to the screen number 2. Yep. And when I press on this button, I go to the screen number 1. Okay, simple. So this is how button object works in the WinCC TIA Portal project. You can also make another events for this button. Here, how you can see, you have many events, many function, alarms, calculation, edit bits, historical data, for example, etc. More about the events we show in the another lesson of this HMI tutorial. So this is all for this video. Thank you for watching and goodbye.